podcast. I'm Kyle, joined by my brother Keenan. Keenan, great to see you. Let's get right to it. You want to talk NFL, NBA? Let's get right to it. I know we want to watch this.
Let's go NFL.
I know we want to watch this Warriors-Clippers game. We're not going to breeze through this, but I know it's something we do want to watch. But lots of NFL news today. Where would you like to start?
It's kind of, you kind of almost got to start with the best player on most of these things, and Aaron Rodgers intends.
Schuster. Oh, sorry, my fault.
A-Raj.
Sure, A-Raj.
Rodgers intends to play with the Jets this coming season. On Pat McAfee's show, 1 o'clock, Austin Lamar, who we're probably going to be having on within the next week to talk his guy. Aaron Rodgers has been his favorite player since he's been watching football, so he's got to come on and talk about his guy.
Formerly his guy, I guess.
Formerly, it's probably still his guy, in fairness. Like, Tom was still my guy, even though I was a Patriots fan. Like, I can't say that Tom wasn't still my favorite player in the NFL. Like, he still was. So, still his guy.
I moved on to being a big Jake Bailey fan, who is now no longer a Patriot. But, Aaron Rodgers, I don't know, man. Aaron Rodgers is annoying. Like, as soon as I saw last night that he was going to be on McAfee's show, I was like, okay, he's going to do his LeBron decision tomorrow, like, clearly. Like, because we all heard about it, today's Wednesday. We heard about it Monday, about how, and it might have been before that. It might have been this weekend. I don't remember the exact day, but we'd heard how the Jets flew to Green Bay. We're talking to Aaron Rodgers, this and that. And people had reported that it was a done deal. He was saying it's not, blah, blah, blah. People were saying, like, what's the holdup? Is he retiring? Then I see, again, last night that he's going on Pat McAfee's show today. And I'm like, here we go. He's going to have his LeBron moment. And then all he tells us is that he intends to sign with the Jets. Like, no shit, I could have told you that. Like, that's breaking news, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's weird that the Patriots have been on a slide, obviously, since Tom Brady left. And the AFC East is much improved. Obviously, the Bills have held it down since Brady left. The Jets are much improved. The Dolphins are much improved. And the Jets are getting Aaron Rodgers, and I didn't even, bat an eye at it. Like, I'm not – even with the state of the Patriots that you don't really know what's going on, even though Aaron Rodgers definitely improves a great roster that the Jets have, I don't think I feel like the NFC South and Brady was coming. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't feel crazy worried. Like, I'm just cautiously optimistic about the Patriots, but I'm optimistic nonetheless. Like, I know a lot of Pats fans, the sky's falling all the time. But the fact that we got rid of Matt Patricia, I'm ready to, just knock last year off and, this year's a blank slate. And, we'll finally give Mac Jones a fair chance. I turned this into a Patriots thing, but, good for the Jets, good for Jets fans, I guess. They're getting the whole Favre thing.
This is the best quarterback they've had on their roster since Broadway Joe. So definitely congratulations. I understand. I think Rodgers is a little better than probably other people at the moment. I know, which it brings up.
I'm saying,
at
though,
some point here in
Favre's
the year,
probably the better
in a
quarterback
weeks,
out of him and name it.
Wait, say that, sorry?
You said best quarterback since Broadway Joe. I probably would say Favre would probably be their best quarterback. It's probably their best quarterback since Brett Favre. The Jets.
Best quarterback since Brett Favre. They're definitely the best quarterback since Brett Favre. No disrespect to Chad Pennington or Vinny Testaverde. And I was saying since Broadway Joe because of the fact that of where Brett Favre was at in his career. I know Aaron Rodgers is technically in the similar place when it comes to age-wise, but Aaron Rodgers had a down year last year, 26 touchdowns, 12 picks, but was coming off of 2 MVPs as well. So, but saying since Brett is fine, since the Green Bay Packer that went there is fine, for sure. I think the Jets needed a QB. I honestly would have been in the Lamar Jackson business if I'm them. That's my personal opinion because I feel Lamar Jackson, even you have the money to give to him and you have the long-term roster that would work with him as well. Most of your stars are really young. Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall go on as well. Mekhi Becton. But I think for a team that has had no. I mean, obviously they had the 2 back-to-back and AFC Championship years, which no one really believed in them those years. Those are kind of more surprise teams than anything. They've got legitimate
the first one,
playoff
second one
team like aspiration.
Second one was more legit. After you do it one time,
yeah. Second one was, yeah, second one more legit. But since at least, especially since that moment, but really they have like true going into the season, we are a definitive playoff team thoughts. Will it happen? We'll see. But like obviously they're a 9-8 team that just got Aaron Rodgers. They got Alan Lazard. They got draft picks, so it's going to be very interesting to see them moving forward. So for the state, for New York City, for New York, whatever, East Rutherford, New Jersey, technically. Good day for them, getting Aaron Rodgers 100%.
Yeah, it's great. I can't wait to see how this all plays out with Aaron Rodgers in the New York City market. Him being as weird as he is with the media and his Pat McAfee spots. Because, I don't really pay attention to it, but people be saying how Aaron Rodgers, like, really does, I guess it's be saying wild shit on that show, like, every Wednesday must be his spot, right? So, maybe that gets picked up more in New York City if he's doing that, especially if he's playing bad, Mm-hmm. If they're 0-2, that's going to be magnetized way more than any other play, especially with it being Aaron Rodgers, you know what I mean? If you're a star in New York City, you gotta deliver. So I can't wait to see how it plays out. I would love to play spoiler to it all. I being the New England Patriots. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say right here, I hope that it's Patriots-Jets week 1, regardless of what field it's at, whether it's in MetLife or whether it's in Gillette. I would love to see that matchup week 1. Jets-Patriots, battle for the AFC East. Yeah, I'd love it. Maybe it'll be Jets-Bills, but I would love it.
Absolutely.
Resurrect the Jets rivalry, if you want to call it that. And I don't know. Yeah. I'm bullish. I'm really bullish. We're going to turn it to the Pats here. We got Juju today. I was really upset with us leaving out Jacoby, not giving him the money. I figure, if we have as much history as we do, recent history of not drafting well, why not pay, even if it's a little much, why not pay the receiver who's been very consistent for you? I've been on record here, if you want to say that. I've been on record here saying how I think, you put Jacoby with a quarterback, he will be an instant Pro Bowler. I think he's that reliable. I think he's of the ilk of Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, as far as a slot receiver. We'll never know.
I think Jacoby Myers. Go on, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say we won't know as far as how he'll look in our system. We won't even really know with the Raiders because of Jimmy G how much of a game manager he is. You know what I mean? We're not really gonna see him in an explosive offense necessarily, or like a pass-heavy offense. So, we'll see what Jacoby comes of it. But I would have loved him back from Mac Jones. I thought they had chemistry. But Juju, I've said on here as well, he's long been one of my favorite overlooked wide receivers. I think I would have loved him on the Patriots 2 years ago, and here we got him on a pretty good deal too. So I'm happy as a Pats fan today.
Yeah. So you were able to replace Jacoby Myers, a security blanket who's a good route runner, with another good route running wide receiver who can catch the ball. So definitely a good replacement there.
And bigger tackles. Body. He's a more explosive playmaker.
What's up?
Juju's a more explosive playmaker as well. I
was gonna say he can definitely. I understand in Kansas City, people thought he was going to go there last year, and it was going to be more reminiscent of his, I believe, 2018 season. 2018 season, I want to say, the one where Antonio Brown was on the Steelers as well, and didn't really go too hot with him because he won the players' vote for the best player on the team because he had a great season. I think 1,400 yards, around 8 to 10 touchdowns, but. Anyways, Juju, I think, definitely can be productive in this offense. You're getting Mac Jones another piece offensively. You've got already, when he's healthy, you've got Devontae Parker. You're going to have Juju. They are in talks of getting Jerry Jeudy or DeAndre Hopkins or Odell, at least they're on their radar. So they're looking at really upgrading that wide receiver position.
I'll believe all
via
that when I hear
trade
it.
or via,
when I see it.
Oh, absolutely. Those are the things that you hear. But at least it's good to know that they're at least, that was reported that they're at least in the thought of, okay, we need to go get another receiver, which is fine with me. As you know, as well as I know, how I've always said, the one thing that they're missing has been a true number one. I was happy when they got Devontae Parker, but the only thing I wasn't happy with is the fact that he can't stay healthy himself. It's just something, he just naturally has never really been a full season guy.
Right.
So, but I do like the moves the Patriots have been making so far. I think that going in, they're going to be probably predicted as the fourth team in the division, especially now that you've got Miami, who just got Jalen Ramsey for a third. I thought that was a little light, personally. But I mean, good for them. They got a top 5 corner for a third-round pick. I understand contractually things work out in the NFL as they do, and he's a little older, but dang, if you can do that, you can do that. You got the Bills who are still there. They re-signed Jordan Poyer today, and then you've got the Jets. Obviously, looks like they're going to be getting Aaron Rodgers. They got Allen Lazard as well to go along with the young pieces they have. But I do think that the Patriots can make things very interesting. I don't think they're just going to be like a 4-win team unless Mac Jones is not him. Like, not it at all. That's really what this is going to come down to.
I mean, look, they're not losing anything. Well, first of all, we did lose Devin McCourty on defense. Happy retirement to Devin McCourty. But I thought we were the deepest safety group in the league last year, and we're returning everybody else. We'll probably draft another safety. Bill Belichick does not miss when it comes to drafting defensive backs, let alone defensive players. So I'm not worried about the defense at all. Everyone's heard what I've said about, Matt Patricia last year. I mean, I said at the beginning of the pod, I mean, we got an actual offensive
Matty
coordinator, and we went 8-9 last year. We were right in the mix. So
yeah,
look, our running game's going to be there still. Our passing game should automatically improve. And you're telling me our defense is going to be the same, what I thought could have been a Super Bowl defense? Yeah, man. I mean, sure, you want to say it's going to be a gauntlet next year, the AFC East? Maybe. We never know. Shit changes year to year in the NFL. But, hey, I think we're looking on the up and up as far as the Patriots go. Look, we'll get plenty Patriots talk near like August and all that. So I won't bore everyone too much with it. But yeah. I think we're in a good spot. I'll say that.
This division, to me, might be this year what we thought the AFC West was going to be last year.
I mean, you could have said that last year, too. I mean, AFC was hella competitive last year as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, I meant just the preseason thought of it. Because, no one went into the preseason thinking that all 4 teams in the AFC East had a chance to make the playoffs, which they actually did until week 18. Going into the season last year, not that we all thought there would naturally have to be one because you wouldn't have 3 division teams in the wild card from the same teams in the same division in the wild card because of how loaded the AFC is. But people were still like, well, I got Vegas. Well, I got Denver. No, I got the Chargers. And obviously everyone had the Chiefs still. Mm-hmm. So it's like going into this year, I mean, obviously I think the Patriots, just because they're not going to have the big-time names, are going to be on the kind of outside looking in. But then also you're going to have you're going to be like, okay, so you got Aaron Rodgers and the Jets here. If Tua's healthy, you've got Tua. That offense looked really good last year. They got better defensively. And then you're like, okay, we always have the Bills here with Josh Allen. Once you have Josh Allen and the Bills, you're going to have to – they're a perennial playoff team. So it's definitely going to be interesting. But, yes, we don't have to fully bore people, quote-unquote, with our Patriots love. Lamar Jackson – do you have any more thoughts now that it's gone on? He has a non-exclusive tag on him. Do you have any thoughts of where he's going to be next season?
I think he stays in Baltimore.
You still think Baltimore?
Absolutely. We haven't seen anybody make an offer to him. We haven't seen the market really change for him. In a way, I think what Baltimore did was kind of smart. You know what I mean? Personally, if it was me, I would have put the other tag on him. You know what I mean? I would put the exclusive tag on him.
Yeah.
And there you go. You got him, right? And then You can kind of stall
Yeah.
contract talks for a year. That's what I would have done. They put the non-exclusive tag on him and basically said, like, hey, go see what your worth is. And it's been a full week and we haven't seen much. You know what I mean? Nothing at all, really.
Yeah.
No one, I can't imagine anybody is going to offer him a fully guaranteed deal. That was just a Cleveland Browns special on fucking Deshaun Watson. So for him to use that as the barometer, I think it's extremely risky. The details have
It's tough. Like Kirk Cousins was really the first guy to be getting these, but they were happening on 2 to 3 year increments rather than like a 5-year fully guaranteed, which is hard. Like I feel any team would give Lamar like a 2 or 3 year fully guaranteed. Like, because I mean, obviously we've seen Aaron Rodgers; he's got a couple year fully guaranteed deal, but it's like when you get into that 5-year stretch, it's hard for a lot of people, especially when you have a quarterback who, over the last 2 years, is shown to be a little bit more injury prone, even though a lot of it, one of it's misconstrued because they thought one of them he got injured in the pocket when people always just naturally assume if Lamar Jackson's injured, it has to be he was running.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say that the first one he had was just a legitimate quarterback injury that happens. So it's not like that was anything like kind of out of the realm of him being. It would have happened if he wasn't a runner, essentially. So it's going to be interesting to see moving forward if anyone's going to try to offer him that or what he's going to settle with.
Yeah.
I still think Detroit should make a move for him. I do. I think you could trade Goff. You could get. And you could probably get a second. Like the Colts would give you maybe a second. You can maybe get them into giving you a first for Goff. I don't know. And then you can go trade for Lamar as well. You still have some draft compensation for this year, and you go make a run for it, being the best team in that division, possibly with you in Minnesota at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, if we're talking about the Colts, I don't know if they'd be in the business of getting another vet quarterback. Sounds like they're kind of done with that. I don't really know. But
listen, I mean, I hope they're done with it for their sake. But I mean, I feel like Indy's just like the perfect spot for vet quarterbacks because that's what they love to do for a cycle. It's like we have a pretty good roster. Let's bring in another veteran guy. Let's just keep him coming in. We'll wait. We're just gonna wait for Andrew Luck to call back, please.
yeah, I mean, they've been in a constant cycle since Andrew Luck abruptly retired. But
yeah,
what Lamar wants is just unprecedented. Again, it's only the only person who has it is Deshaun, and again, that was a Cleveland Browns special. You can't get much worse of a front office than Cleveland, or really much worse of a franchise over the last, I don't know, 30 years, maybe more than the Browns. So, for Lamar to base it off that again, I don't. How can you expect that from any team, let alone your own team? You know what I mean? And what the Ravens offered him looked pretty damn good. NFL contracts they're their own thing. You know what I mean? Everyone sees the initial money, but rarely is the money that's for the total contract what's actually guaranteed or what they actually get. Contracts really don't even matter in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Like we see that with Derek Carr. He got a big contract and he's released. You know what I mean? A couple years later. Or was it a trade? Did they get him via trade? Well, like how'd that... Either way, he's gone. You know what I mean?
He got...
So...
You can honestly get under most deals, like the Russell Wilson deal set aside, like a Patrick Mahomes, you would never get rid of Patrick Mahomes, but like Patrick Mahomes deal, like there are certain deals that you can't get out of for a couple of years because of the dead money that you would eat. It's way more valuable just to keep the player rather than not. Like this year, I think if the Broncos were to get rid of Russell Wilson, they'd eat like $60 million or something.
Yeah,
stupid
well, yeah, you can't
like
get
that.
rid of someone
it's like,
1 year in.
Why would we get rid of someone when we're going to pay him that salary regardless? I think for them, they would have to eat a lot of money, but 2 years from now, they'd be able to get rid of Russ. If not 3 years, really, would be the time frame for them. But for the most part, you can maneuver or reconstruct deals and manage to get out up under those deals within a year or two time frame for the most part.
Yeah, for sure. But, I mean, you asked me, where do I think he goes? Yeah, I mean, it's been a week and no one's offered him shit. What the Ravens offered him was good. It's really at this point what Lamar wants because I don't see – like, what do you see someone offering him per year? Because I think it was rumored that it was maybe like 50 mil from the Ravens, with a lot of guaranteed money. That's a lot for any quarterback, let alone someone who does get out of the pocket like Lamar. I mean, people, you see it all the time. People talking about he can't throw from the pocket, this and that, which is just supremely overrated. Like he's improved so much year to year from the pocket. You know what I mean? So he's worth whatever money he gets. It's just what does he get and what's he gonna settle for? Like I can't imagine he's gonna sit out this year because no team gives him a guaranteed deal. That would be ridiculous. That would be ill-advised. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I can't see him doing the Lev Bell.
And I think the Ravens obviously would love to have him back. I don't know. I think he just ends up going back there. However long it takes, this or that, whether it's after the draft, I don't know. And
I think there's got to be one team out there that's going to make a move.
The only one I could picture would be one of them
that's got to make something.
The Commanders. And going from Baltimore to the Commanders would be like going from the Knicks to the Nets or something like that. The Nets are probably definitely better well run than the Commanders. Like the Commanders are the worst run team.
Yeah.
They're up there with the Browns. I just mentioned the Browns. The Commanders are up there too. They're definitely worse than the Browns. But the Browns over the course of time have been atrocious. But at this moment, there's nobody worse than the Commanders, and they actually have a good roster, which is the weirdest part about all that.
If they got Lamar, they would be right there. I mean, they wouldn't be the Eagles. Obviously, the Eagles just coming off a championship. They're going to be losing some pieces this year, but they would be there. I mean, they'd have running back. They have Terry McLaurin. They've got a decent offensive line. Then their defense, they
got receivers.
If it plays up to what it should, Lamar on the Commanders actually would be a very good fit for them. So I don't think that'd be bad at all.
So where do you think he actually ends up?
But when it comes to Lamar, sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, you said the Ravens or the Lions should offer, but where do you think he actually ends up when it's all said and done? Most teams are already have a quarterback,
Or they're the Panthers and they just traded up for the number 1 overall pick and they're looking to take either Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud.
Because Panthers would have been a team I would have said maybe 2 weeks ago, but they traded for it.
Yeah. Shout out to the Bears, by the way. I think that's a great trade. Before I answer this Lamar point, I think that's a great trade. You're going off of the method that you've seen that's worked in the NFL lately. The Bills, after year 2 of Josh Allen, they trade for Stephon Diggs. Allen has probably his best season of his career, and that works out phenomenally. Last year, you see the Eagles trade for A.J. Brown. Jalen Hurts has the best years of his career. That works out phenomenally. So, not that DJ Moore is exactly as good as A.J. Brown or Stephon Diggs, but he is a very talented number 1 wide receiver, so he has a true 1 to go along with Chase Claypool now, who is a true 2. Darnell Mooney can slide into that speedster number 3 kind of role to be that specialty guy instead of having to be the number 2 or number 1 option, which he has been over the last couple of years. You've got a run game as well. So you got a bunch of picks now to bolster that offensive line and get defensive pieces. You built what you're supposed to around Justin Fields now. Now let's go see what Justin Fields does. So I like that move for the Bears.
Yeah, he's got to do the work. You mentioned Josh Allen and Hurts. He's got to make the leaps that they did, and we'll see. We'll see because you just don't never know.
Absolutely, I mean,
you never know what you got in a quarterback. Really,
you never know. But
until you know,
they can't be mad at him putting the pieces around him. Can't be mad. You're now trying to make him your quarterback. There's some situations to where
Geno Les said that's possibly the best offseason in NFL history. I said,
wait, what was that?
Geno Les said this could be, depending on what else they add and what else they get in the draft, it could be the best offseason in NFL history for the Bears. I said, there was Randy Moss and Wes Welker in one offseason that led to 16-0. Along with whatever else they got that year, but he was like, all right, you made a point. So, but he's really happy about these offseason moves, we'll say that.
Yeah, in fairness, or honestly, to be completely honest, the Chiefs traded up and got Mahomes. Like that, you could argue.
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, he's
things
talking
like
more like
that.
free agent. Free agent.
No, free agent movement. I know, like all those kind of things, but like them technically trading up to get Mahomes. If you're just going off of a free agency period, that could honestly be like one of the greatest ever if you're thinking about it, just because of how great he has been himself. But I know what you're saying, like multiple offseason moves, free agents, like actually putting things together, getting pieces. Yeah.
By the way,
no, it's definitely a step forward for the Bears, 100%.
You mentioned Austin Lamar earlier, and how he might come on. We were talking earlier. Yeah, 'cause, I mean, I think he talked to both of us about this, but we were talking earlier, and he said how if and when it does become official that Shannon and I get into the league, how he officially, I don't know why he's been challenging me for like years of boxing me, but he's like, once you get to the league, we're going to make it official and we're going to box. And I'm like, say when, like just say when and we'll do it, blah, blah, blah. I told him put money down. I said, I'll put whatever amount of money that I win. Like and he didn't want to put money down. He said, I'll win. What did he say? He said, I'll win your life because, you know, I don't know what the fuck he said. He's like, I'll win your life because you'll be dead after, basically, or some shit like that. I'm like, come on, really put money down. Like, cause I'm ready. Like I'd go tomorrow if he wants to, but I want to get a final date.
Actually, if you join the league, you should put your first round pick on it. Or you should like trade like a first for a fourth.
I'm not
or
putting any
like
draft capital on it. No way. I mean, you know what? I would. I think I would, but I don't want to put. I'd rather put money down.
Okay, fair enough.
But
I'm just saying, like I'd put draft capital on it. That's a thing for me. I like to bet draft capital, especially because like money to some.
Wait, so I get his first round pick,
depending on how much you put.
So wait, if I win, I get his first round pick. So I get 2 first round picks.
And then, like, you trade him a fourth because you have to make it even so everyone gets 16 players.
Why?
But, like,
if he lost a boxing match, why would I have to trade him my fourth? I should keep every pick.
Well, no, I'm saying, like, exchange for, like, a first for, like, a whatever. But, yeah, I mean, I would trade a first for a fourth any day because I want a boxing match. I mean, of course.
I'll take the first and some money. But...
Well,
Austin,
you
anywhere,
guys can work
anytime,
out your things around.
I mean, I think... Wherever, I mean, if it's a destination draft, we could do it there. Wherever we do the draft, you could supply the boxing gloves. You know, you working at a sporting goods store, you could supply us with the gloves. I'm ready whenever. Like, I would do it right now. I'm ready whenever. But I don't know why he wants to box me. It's just been mad random. He's like, "Yo, Kyle, I'm gonna box you." I'm like, "All right, say less." Like he's been saying that for at least 2 years.
You guys brought it up one time.
I don't know how it came up or why. But
I can't remember, but when you say something to Austin, he typically will remember it, and then like you'll bring it up if it's something that's relevant to him. I can't remember exactly what it was though that made it brought up, but we went far away from the point. I don't know. A gun to my head, if I had to see where Lamar Jackson was going to be. Wait, what?
I said, gun to your head, you'd take me in a boxing match. Go ahead.
I mean, you have to.
Now the more
I'm
talking about it, the more I want to do it. Like this, like Saturday. But no, we got to do it.
It's gotta happen.
It's gotta happen.
I want it to happen too. This would be great.
Like he officially put the challenge out.
Thing.
He officially put the challenge out. He said, once you and Shannon get in the league, he's like, me and you got to make it official and box. And I'm like, say less. We'll come up with the rounds, like whatever. If it's like 3 rounds, 6 rounds, I'll go 12 rounds, whatever it is. We can
listen, we'll have probably a 4-round. It'll be a 4-round, 2-minute per, which is a long time.
We'll go 6 rounds.
I'll supply the gloves. Okay,
half
6. Okay,
half
damn.
the
all right,
half the amount of a official boxing match.
Okay, so we can go 6 rounds, which is a super long time. It's gonna be super tiresome, but fine. Sounds good. I can supply the gloves. I work at Dick's Sporting Goods. I got the gloves. Austin wants to end it in the first because I'm not sure his conditioning is up to snuff with yours. So
he told me his strategy. He's like, I'm coming out with full haymakers. I'm like, that sounds like a winning strategy right there. So, I mean,
man, I need to see this now. But far away from the point, Lamar Jackson.
no, right on point.
Lamar
More of it next
Jackson.
week too when he comes on. We'll be talking boxing match next week if he comes on.
Oh yeah,
if
no, I definitely will. Definitely, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about this boxing match. Trust me. I think a team's gonna make a move for him, and I really do. And
Who's the team?
The more you said the Commanders, this more feels like a Commanders move. I would say Commanders or Detroit. Those are the two teams for me. I really think that just makes sense too.
So he's gonna go to two actual poverty franchises from the Ravens, based on money.
I do, because I think they'll offer him the money that he wants.
He goes to the
another
Lions.
Thing
he's gonna
that
instantly tear his ACL, just because that's how the Lions work. He goes to the Commanders.
Yeah.
If he goes to the Commanders, what'll happen? He tear both ACLs probably. I don't know. He's cursed either way if he goes to either one of those. I hope he stays in Baltimore. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't mind if he went to NFC, being a Patriots fan. But for whatever reason, I do like him on Baltimore. I think they're a good fit. They're a class organization, and they want him.
I mean, I wanted him in New England personally.
Yeah,
maybe
Belichick
him when they moved and got Sony Michel and shit.
Maybe Belichick's scheming.
New England said that they were not in on it, but you never know with them. So I hope so. I would love it. Love every second of it if they got Lamar.
Say less.
Absolutely. You know how you were when a few years ago, for the people who are watching now, who weren't watching or listening before, when the moment we got Cam, Kyle said that KC's coming to us. If we get Lamar Jackson, you might hear something similar from me. Oh boy, if we got Lamar, oh buddy,
we'd go to the Super Bowl. I still defend.
Oh boy, let us get Lamar Jackson, and
I defend what I said about Cam Newton. By the way, that was before we lost our whole defense. That was before a lot of things, but you know, I'm not mad at it still.
Yeah, but
that's how I felt in the moment. You know.
Anyways, you felt that in the moment. Chiefs are coming to us. Okay, I don't know. I didn't know about that one, but anyways. Funny stuff. I thought Lamar getting traded either to Detroit or to the Commanders. The Commanders, the more we've talked about it, the more it makes sense for them, and they just seem like a team that would make like a snap move like that. Well, I would love him to come to New England though, but I don't think that he is a Raven next year personally. That if I had to choose between being one and not being one, I would definitely say not being one on my personal opinion.
Nobody's offered anything. It's been a week. And you do not get that hot of a free agent on the market at that age, just on the market. For cheap right now, by the way. But what he wants is so specific. You got what you got. No offers right now. So I don't know what it's going to be for him.
And so one thing I got a question of is, I'll set it up a little bit.
Sure.
So I was doing this whole thing. I think I started to mention it earlier, and then we just went on a tangent. But this kind of new thing, I was thinking about the Lamar Jackson deal, and I was like, how many quarterbacks right now would I give a
fully guaranteed deal to?
Full guaranteed contract?
Only Mahomes.
How many quarterbacks would I? And that led me into my making like a staircase, a little preview of a graphic that we're having, a little staircase kind of tier things to show different levels of it. To show where like quarterbacks are on different levels. So I ranked like the top 22 quarterbacks. I went through stats wise. I'm putting it together still a little bit, but little preview of a segment.
So as you said that, I said only Mahomes. But even now, just thinking about it, I don't even know if that's true. Like we just saw how injury prone Mahomes is, like in the postseason. You know what I mean? Like the rarity it is to even have a quarterback for 10 years it's rare. Like, how do we know Burrow? How do we know Burrow's going to last 8 years? We don't. You know what I mean? Like, would I give the most guaranteed money I could to a quarterback? Absolutely. Especially if it was someone like Mahomes. But a fully guaranteed deal, there's a reason why.
Here's the thing.
Why there's only one, you know? And it was fucking Deshaun, who'd been out for 2 years because dude's got a happy ending addiction. And you know what I mean? Like, the Browns were like, yeah, let's give this guy. Let's give up draft capital, and let's give him all the money we got.
Let's give him a true happy ending.
Exactly, right? Yeah, like, This guy loves happy endings. Let's give him a real happy ending, and we don't.
Let's give him a real happy ending.
And he might. Deshaun was great. Deshaun was elite before this break, but we might be a year away from he's even competent again. You know what I mean? He was extremely rusty at the end of last year.
Yeah, no, Deshaun Watson was close to what Joe Burrow is. Like, that's where we were talking about him. It was like Mahomes, Allen, like, in like those offenses at that time. It was Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers, and then it was Deshaun. But he was like in that top 5 easily conversation.
And
before,
even then,
because he's amazing.
Even then, the person I compared Deshaun to before all this would have been Steve McNair, right? And Steve McNair very much had the reputation of Brett Favre when he played, which was they will play through injury because they're tough, right? And that's a key word right there, injury. That's because Deshaun takes so much hits, and he was able to sustain a lot, but I would never give that guy, even before all that happened, I would never give that guy a fully guaranteed deal. And they gave it to him after a 2-year break, after all the bullshit, on top of his style of play being very injury prone, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think, like you said, I think it's overrated that Lamar's injury prone, but literally the only quarterback you could give me that I would consider being injury prone, consider a fully guaranteed deal would be Mahomes, or Tom Brady if he's coming back for years 46 through 50. But no, not
I would have. If there's people, I would give it to Mahomes. If you got me, I would give a fully guaranteed to Mahomes. I would give a fully guaranteed to Burrow. And
Burrow's
I think
already lost this season though, and taken a lot of punishment early in his
yeah,
career.
but
you're giving that guy 8.
That was kind of his. I would, yeah. I would give him. I would give Mahomes, and his was more of a freak. His was a freak injury, kind of like Tom's. It's kind of more of an outlier to me. Like it's not. It wasn't like a weird. Like,
I think it's more
because other than that, he hasn't missed a game.
I think it's more incredible that Brady only had that as a serious injury in his 22-year career. I think that's literally 1 in a million. Damn near 1 in a million.
Yeah,
even Peyton Manning missed his season.
I guess. I mean, when you think, Peyton Manning had his serious injury. It seems like all the quarterbacks, take Eli out, all the starting long-term quarterbacks have had their serious injury, but otherwise, it's been pretty
I still want to give
Philip
any of
Rivers
those guys
is pretty consistent throughout the years. If you're
saying
saying Brady, I'm giving Brady a contract.
Well, sure.
I would give him Brady a fully guaranteed.
After the 16-0 year, yeah, of course I'm giving Brady revisionist history. I'm giving him a fully guaranteed deal, long-term deal, sure. But it's after that. It's after all that. It's after 3 rings and a 16-0. You know what I mean? It's not like it's early on in his career where Mahomes is. And again, Mahomes, we don't even know 4 years from now, Mahomes could be who knows where. I don't anticipate that, but he's shown to be injury prone already. So it's just tough, especially with Lamar. And, Burrow would be your,
and that's definitely fair.
Burrow would be your example for a pocket QB, but he's already lost a season early in his career. And since he's been back, he's taken a lot of beatings. Maybe not the second half of last season. He definitely improved as far as taking hits, but he's taking hits. Hits are hits nonetheless. Just like, we might talk a little John Morant here, but John Morant, his style of play, it's eventually going to catch up with him, just like it caught up with Dwayne Wade and Allen Iverson. You know what I mean? That reckless style of play, it catches up to you. It absolutely does. So,
absolutely,
I don't know.
Absolutely does. But
you combine that with the randomness of football, hardly anybody. Like the names you mentioned, Mahomes, Brady,
and
sure, maybe Burrow. But even then, it's there's a lot of risk there. There's more risk than reward.
Absolutely. The one thing I just want to say before, because I do want to touch a little bit on basketball, and I know I was going to say this game right now is 51-56, almost at halftime.
Near at halftime.
So definitely going to be a good ending, hopefully. But
happy ending.
Lamar Jackson's 40. Happy ending. Happy ending. Lamar Jackson's 45-16.
Mm-hmm.
His record wise.
Mm-hmm.
He has played. He was healthy all 16 games his first year. Obviously, he played the last 7, went 6-1.
Mm-hmm.
He was healthy all the next season. He sat out the last game of the season, 15. The next year, he played 15. I think they sat out the last game of the season again, and then he played 12 and then 12. I understand there were 17 games to be played, so he's missed 5 the last 2 seasons. So in a grand total of the 80 games he could have played, or roughly around there, he's missed like 11 over 5 seasons, and a sum of them. Like, I don't understand where his injury-prone nature has come into it. I know it's just because his situation has been more publicized, so you feel like, oh man, he has missed so much time. He really hasn't missed.
No, he's been primarily
all
healthy.
that much time.
He's been primarily healthy.
He's been primarily healthy. It's just the last 2.
And it's mobile quarterbacks.
He's just been injured in
quarterbacks, you know.
Yeah, it's more of a mobile quarterback thing because he's been injured just in more inconvenient spots. Like, they were the 1 seed, they were 8-3, and then he misses a bunch of games, and they fall out of all that. And then last year, they were one of the top teams as well, and just kind of falls out of that too. So it's like, oh, this game's getting chippy too. So I just think there's a little bit of a misconception with Lamar Jackson on how he is. But I also feel like the people who go to bat for Lamar almost it's like they want to deflect the hate so much that they almost do a little bit too much sometimes. But I just think Lamar Jackson's a top about 7 to 8. What?
I said bronze sexual syndrome right there. The over defender.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think people just are almost too much we got to make this as our guy. You guys don't know what you're talking about. There are 2 things can be true. Lamar is definitely an improving pocket passer compared to where he came into the league, but there's still steps he needs to take. He is a top 10 easy quarterback in the league, in my opinion. I think he's probably around. I'll save where I think he is for when my whole staircase thing comes out. But he's a top 10 quarterback in the league, but that doesn't mean he's number 1. And I agree. I don't think he deserves a fully guaranteed deal, but I'd give him a 5-year, $200 million deal with 120, 130 guaranteed. I would do that. That's like a 50-ish million, or 45-ish million a year deal.
That's probably around what he was offered.
His guaranteed money being there.
The Ravens.
I think it was. I would definitely give him that. You pay him. You've got to pay him but I think Lamar Jackson also needs to be understanding of his own situation, and this is where having an agent could be helpful. Sometimes you don't know when to stop because you're going to bat for yourself fully.
Supposedly,
and you have that other person in the room who's like, no.
What's that?
No, I think that you're okay.
Supposedly, they offered him a 3-year deal, $133 million, fully guaranteed. So it was a short-term deal, but a fully guaranteed deal. So that's what Ian Rappaport reported.
And he normally is on top of what he says.
But look, the Ravens, whatever's offered to Lamar, they can match it. You know what I mean? It's essentially like restricted free agency in the NBA. You know what I mean? So they have the ability to match. And like I said, I think everybody, whatever he gets offered, I don't think it's going to be fully guaranteed. I think it's going to be less than what he wants. And I think the Ravens will gladly match that unless it's, something crazy. But I don't think it'll be that. So we'll see. Let's move on to NBA, though.
Absolutely. So from what I just saw, obviously today, also a little breaking-ish news, which people will see already because there's Orlando Brown is getting signed by the Bengals, 4-year, $64 million deal. So that's one of the better right tackles in the game today, getting signed by the Bengals. So they're still trying to upgrade that line, so good on their part. But moving on to the NBA, Morant suspended for 8 games. I believe the way they did it, because they say he's eligible Monday, which would mean that his 5 games that he's already missed is baked into that 8-game suspension. So really, he's only missing another 3 games and has the capabilities of coming back on Monday. Not that he might, because he's seeking counseling in Florida.
Oh no, he's out.
Haven't seen him yet, by the way.
No. He's got an interview that he did today with Jalen Rose. That's debuting tonight on the Scott Van Pelt Sports Center. So he's out of counseling. I personally don't believe he ever went to counseling.
Oh yeah,
but apparently it was a 48-hour thing. He went to Florida.
You can't
he's back, so who knows? What the fuck they tell him? Don't carry a gun. Okay, thank you. I won't carry a gun no more. And he said it's his friend's gun. Whatever. I'm surprised he wasn't back before now. The fact that he got 8 games. And they said he's already done 5, so it's really a 3-game suspension. Cool, I guess. Mm-hmm. Look, he's going to come back whether it's Monday or whether it's 2 weeks from now. Whenever he comes back, he's going to ball out. The Grizzlies are going to be...
He's going to be back before the playoffs, and he's going to ball out.
Yeah, like nothing... I mean, essentially, it's almost... I don't want to say it's a plus for the Grizzlies because you never want your star missing 2 weeks, but it's essentially a vacation without... injury, so he's going to be completely fresh, so he's going to be able to come back and get full run when he gets back. It's not like he's going to be on a minutes restriction. They've been doing okay without him.
Yeah.
So, when he comes back, everything's going to be...
Over the last few years, they've shown to be a really good team without him.
Yeah, and he's going to come back. He'll be all right. Their questions are going to still be the same. What's that fourth quarter offense going to look like? Like, what's Ja going to look like on defense? How are they going to be against an experienced team in the playoffs, like the Warriors, et cetera, et cetera?
Yep.
So, I mean, nothing. This whole story with Ja is really a non-story to me. He did something dumb. He's 23. Sending him to counseling, that's a joke to me. Like I said, I don't even think he went. I think they put that out there. I think he was in Memphis chilling. You know what I mean? And then that only reinforces it once I saw that he was out today. I'm like, oh, okay. It was a 2 or 3 day counsel he went from Memphis to Florida. Now he's back in Memphis. 2-hour flight. Like, all right. I think he was home chilling.
As someone
was in his ear.
Someone who's been in counseling before, I don't know how a 48-hour session changes you. Like, I don't know what kind of crash course you think.
Or what specific sort of counseling you get in 48 hours for having a gun out on Instagram Live. Like, what's the suspension was enough to me, whatever it was. And the fact that, I saw the 8-game suspension earlier, and then you told me right before we came on that it's really a 3-game suspension and that the 5 games are already. I was like, what the fuck was the point of even, announcing that it was an 8-game suspension then? Like, it's just, I don't know. It's whatever. But I'm ready for the stretch run of the season. I'm enjoying what I've seen since the All-Star break. I mean, that's more of a continuation of what we talked about last week. But, hey, man, I mean, Joel Embiid continues to put up ridiculous numbers. Jokic continues to put up ridiculous numbers. Giannis continues to put up ridiculous numbers. It's neck and neck and neck to me. That's the story of this season, of these last 3 weeks to me, is, who's going to win it? Because it's anyone's race. The discourse around this award is disgusting. I'm sick of it. I never even want to listen to another NBA MVP discussion again. I thought it was interesting. I'll let you get in here too, because I'm talking a lot here, but I saw an interview. I saw an interview Dame did on JJ Redick's podcast, where he was basically like, "Yo, fuck what the NBA has become today." You know what I mean? He's like, "Today's NBA is not the NBA I came into. The culture in it and the culture around it is whack." Basically, he was saying which he's been vocal about before. Jumping teams is whack. Like, there's nothing wrong with sticking with your team and, enjoying the journey and seeing where it ends up. Saying how he likes watching his teammates do well. He likes watching them succeed. Loves being in Portland. It's a dope interview. I actually think, if anyone wants to go check that out. I didn't listen to the full podcast, but the clip that they put out of Dame saying, like, this, today's NBA is increasingly whack. was a very insightful interview, and he was spot on. It was refreshing to hear an NBA player say, you know, what
a very good NBA player.
Yeah, a star NBA player say, you know, what a lot of people have been saying about the league. Like, you know, some of the shit is whack. Some people embrace it, but man, the day-to-day Sports Center shit, I mean, you know, Twitter stuff, the stuff that you see about, like, you know, just putting down superstar, like the shit that's being said about Embiid and Jokic and Giannis is ridiculous. Like, stuff you'd never say about a superstar player. Like, appreciate these players because all three of those players, and I can include
all-time great players.
Are not only all-time great, but so unique. Like, yeah, we see more 7-footers with handle, and yeah, we got Wemby coming in next year, who, you know, has parts of all three of them in his game. Probably more Embiid and Giannis than Jokic, but, you know, certainly has parts of all three in his game. They're all so incredibly rare, though. We're not going to see many Jokic's, many Embiid's, many Giannis's as the years go on. Even if it does seem like it's becoming the norm, you know, Porzingis is another one that we thought was going to be like this, and he's kind of still more average than we thought. You know what I mean? He was the one that first got called a unicorn.
You'll see.
And it's really these three, and they've
You'll
been
see
holding
more
down for
Sabonis's, like Sabonis is a really good player, but you can see that again. Like Jokic is like Sabonis times 2.
Yeah, you know, that's a great way of putting it.
But as I say, he's still rare. I was gonna say he's still rare. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, for how the league and how the players are evolving, Sabonis is a phenomenal player. Top 30 easy. Like, he's a phenomenal player. He is a guy who you can replicate, though. Like, a guy you could see a Sabonis type player again, a really good passing big. Like, Pau Gasol was a version of Sabonis, just a little bit different. Like that Marc Gasol kind of thing. They're a little different. Obviously, they're more nuanced. Sabonis is more of a nuance today. But Jokic is like Sabonis times 2. He's got to touch. He's passes. He's averaging 10 assists a game. He's a center. That is crazy.
I don't know if this is
that doesn't happen.
I don't know if this is breaking news, but
what's up?
Nate in our fantasy league just added Kevin Durant back to his team, who he dropped last week because, you know, I mean, we'll get to it. We're going to bring it up anyway, but Durant sprained his ankle in fucking warm-ups. So talk about injury prone. Nate just added him back on his team. Wonder if that means he's coming back earlier than expected. I don't know. But what did you think about it? Came right after our discussion last week where I said, speaking of those three, Embiid, Jokic, Giannis, I said those three should be ahead of Curry, Durant, Kawhi, just because of the night-to-night stuff. You know, we don't see Curry and Durant every night because they can't seemingly stay healthy. Literally the next night or a couple nights after that, Durant sprains his ankle in warm-ups in the most injury-prone way possible.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
I feel bad for him because, like, that shit just sucks, and I love watching Durant play. But, like, yeah. I mean, that was exactly my point right there. Like, he got injured in warm-ups. And not even the warm-ups before the game, the warm-ups before the warm-up. It's like when you're just shooting around by yourself with the trainers
like
before,
just like
you know?
the pregame individual workout just to get your blood flowing and see how you're feeling before the actual legitimate pregame warm-up.
Must have been a wet spot.
It
was a wet spot.
There must have been something, but my thoughts on KD and the Suns right now, that injury might cost them a championship. And I only say that because of I mean, obviously they can manage to put it together because they're such a talented group. But if he's been out, obviously, he didn't play there more than 5 games, I think 5 or 6 games. Then he's out for 3 weeks, and then you just expect to insert him in. 3. Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking Kyrie and Luka together, like numbers-wise in my head. I had a graphic picture from that. But yeah, so I don't think they're going to play 8 to 10 games together going into the playoffs, which right now they would see Golden State. As great as Phoenix is, you almost have to favor Golden State just due to the fact that they've played together and they know each other. But, I mean, obviously the Suns can win that series literally, and it would be solely off of the fact that they are just that talented with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Obviously, they'll have 2 of the 3 best players every single night, unless Klay Thompson comes out to play better than Devin Booker. But, like, going into the game, 2 of the 3 best players are on Phoenix, for sure, and
Klay
probably
did
3 of the
night.
best 5. Oh, Klay. Oh, they woke up for that Phoenix game. Absolutely. Klay had 33 in the first half with 7 or 8 threes. But, like, so the Suns are in a tough spot. They can get out of it only because they're so talented. And this is where USA basketball is going to be a little helpful, because at least they've got some sort of camaraderie together where your off-season workouts become a little bit more. Because I believe Booker and Durant have worked out a little bit in the offseason too. So, like, those little things like that where they get a little bit acquainted with each other will help out more. Like, I think this could be a little bit more detrimental if it was, say, the Mavericks were spiraling anyways, because Luka and Kyrie don't see themselves in like situations at all. So, like in the offseason. So, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how healthy Kevin Durant is. But when he comes back, I think he'll be fine, because it just seems like every single time he comes back, it takes maybe 15 minutes, and you're like, oh, there's Kevin. Yes, good to see you, Kevin.
Yeah, he can. But, I mean, like we said, you can put Kevin Durant anywhere, and he's going to be successful.
Absolutely.
Look, the West is. You told me any team out of the top 8, I'd probably believe at least 6 of them at this point. I say this every damn year. I hate the play-in. Like, just give us the top 8. But that's not what we're in right now. So I really do. Like, I hope the Lakers get in. I hope the Clippers get in. I hope we get, I
hope the Mavs get in.
The Mavs and the Warriors. Like, give us the Mavs, the Warriors, Clippers, and Lakers as the bottom 4. I'm good with that. And we got compelling matchups 1 through 8 all the way down in the West. So I'm ready for that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to save a lot of this because we're going to be talking about playoffs each week. I know John Williams wants to come on and talk Celtics. I know Camden wants to come on and talk NBA. And I know we're going to expand more on NBA than we did this week. So I'll save a lot of it, but
absolutely,
there is – you could give me, like I said, 6 teams in the West, and I'd believe you. There's so many weaknesses in the West on top of so much top-end talent in the West. And that just leads with so much that gives you so much chaos and unpredictability. Like you said, a team like the Warriors and the Suns, each who have had their injury problems, who have not been together, but not a single team would want to see in 7 games. So, yeah, I can't wait. I cannot wait for the Western Conference playoffs. I hope all the teams I want, again, get in. And then in the East, we know a little bit more. As I said last week, the Celtics are trending down. That continues. They got the win tonight. They had a terrible loss in Houston on Monday. I still do not feel great about them. I feel much better about Philly and Milwaukee still. That's reinforced, after this weekend and into this week. So, yeah. And shit, I didn't even mention the Kings in the West. They're a problem. Sabonis, Fox, Mike Brown got them playing well.
Fox had a game winner tonight, actually.
Did he? Yeah, man. I mean, like.
Yeah, he had a game winning 3 against the Bulls tonight.
And what's unfortunate is we could have. I don't want to sound old guyish again, but had people been playing this whole season, you know what I mean? We could have been having these talks all the way through the season. You know what I mean? And we unfortunately have to wait until after the All-Star break because, that's when all these guys are officially playing now. But I'm enjoying it. It feels like a condensed season. Like, this definitely feels like Season B compared to before the All-Star break.
Feels like,
you know what I mean?
It kind of feels like the bubble in the sense of
does.
Like
it really. I agree with you.
Everything late matters so much especially because of the conjunction and everything that's just like.
I mean, like I was saying last time, that's why it reminds me so much of AAU because so much of these good teams had player movement at the deadline, whatever. But major player movement like Durant, like Westbrook going to the Clippers, like the Lakers did. And now it's like, all right, this is your team for the last 3 weeks. What do you got? And we're about to see. And teams like the Nuggets, who didn't really do many moves, like I think Phoenix is a terrible matchup for the Nuggets, but I'd probably take the Nuggets over damn near everybody else in the West. But Phoenix, I don't know who they're going to find to guard Durant and Booker. So, there's just a lot of questions all around, and I can't wait.
This is, absolutely. It's going to be so much fun. This year, this year for the Nuggets, I know a lot of people, like when you're going to like the media wise, like this is a year people are going to try to hold against Jokic. You know how obviously when you get to becoming like a superstar, obviously becomes a time where you need to start winning, or at least you need to make efforts at it. And obviously last year decks were kind of stacked against him. He went against the end up champions, and he didn't really have plate pieces. 2 years before that, he did go to the conference finals, but this year, like they've had the most cohesive team. Yeah, no, Nikola Jokic is one of the most oddly covered superstars that I've ever seen.
It's weird.
Honestly,
people are weird about him.
He's just they really are. It's like some people will, like, he can't do any wrong and that's fine because, like, he hasn't really done much wrong. I'm not trying to make it sound like he has, but, like, some people can find no wrong in him, and it's, like, almost, like, basically to counteract the other people who won't give him the credit that he deserves. Like, he's won 2 MVPs. He possibly could win a third. I actually just wrote a article thing on the chances of him winning a third because I needed to write it on a story for school last week. So I actually wrote it on Jokic, the possibility and the historical nature of him winning a third.
Link us.
So I dove into like the numbers a little bit more of him and how like he's just such an amazing basketball player. And I feel because we're in like a hot take culture and things like that, I feel like sometimes we forget how crazy and how great people are because we just want to kind of go here with a take here or a take there. Like Jokic is a unicorn in his own right. Like Embiid, the same thing. Giannis, the same thing. Like we have Steph, we have Kevin Durant. The league is so talented, which is why you and I get so upset when we see, oh, this league might be more talented than it's ever been. And we don't get to see it on a night-to-night basis because we think we got to sit just because. Mm-hmm. So it's those stuff kind of that just upsets me when we talk about that just because there's so much talent. Like looking at the game right now, Steph is the first person to ever score 10,000 points off of three-point shots alone.
Wow.
That is crazy. 10,000 points off of the threes? That is incredible. Again, I mean, obviously we'll probably see it again because how prominent the 3-point shot is. But like, we have him in the same time, and we're watching Kawhi Leonard on the court right now, who is a freak. Like there's so much talent in the league, and I can't wait for the stretch run. But goodness,
yeah, no, I mean that's exactly what Dame was talking about. That's exactly what Dame was talking about. Like the discourse around the NBA and the talk about it is disgusting. I saw something yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to spend too much time about it, but I mean, I saw something someone was saying about, like, someone was saying Jokic is a lazy defender because he leads the league in kick balls. And I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. Like, I think that's not a bad stat. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Not that we played at any sort of high level of basketball, but I think any coach, if you're impeding the pass, they're kind of happy with that, right? Like rather than a completed pass, whether it's a kickball, that's a stoppage of possession. You know what I mean? Like that's a win on defense for me. It's right. So
yeah, well, it's not like it's a technical foul or anything like that. You're getting a shot for it. You're literally 8 times out of 10 you're kicking the ball on a backdoor pass that could lead to a layup.
And then funny you just said
like it. Not always.
Since you just said that, you said technical foul. Someone in the comments was like, it should be one shot in the ball, blah, blah, blah. And people were just going off. Someone was like, Harden never got this much hate for defense, or Harden got too much hate for defense. And then there was reasonable people in the comments who were like, bro, first of all, we have clips of Harden literally not giving a shit on defense when he was in Houston. Like, yeah, he gives more effort now,
Absolutely.
but there was times when literally Harden would just like unplug the controller. That's what it looked like for Harden. You know what I mean? He just let someone go back.
Yeah, no, I mean.
And then to the dude who was like, talking about a technical foul for kickballs, someone was like, yo, I've literally never heard anyone have a discussion about kickballs until today. And and they said the same thing as you. They're like, what is it about Jokic that's got people to the point where we're talking about fucking kickballs? You know what I mean? And that's the type of shit right there. Like,
there's something about him.
I've seen it. There is. It's been specifically more weird with Jokic than anybody, especially when it comes to Embiid, because everyone feels like Embiid was wronged. But it's more like both of them were playing at such an incredibly high level. Jokic ekes him out by like that much. You know what I mean? The MVP is pretty circumstantial. Last year, maybe Jokic doesn't win it if he puts up the same stats, but he has Porter and Murray. You know what I mean? Maybe it does go to Embiid. Like, I would give Embiid, as of today, I'd give Embiid a slight nod over Jokic. You know, that doesn't mean Jokic is trash. That doesn't mean Jokic is wrong. This means I think Embiid, as of today, is more deserving. I think I'd probably have Jokic 3 right now, where if you asked me 2 weeks ago, I probably would have had Jokic 1. I just think it's all disgusting, and I think, like a player like Steph Curry, what is it? It's like his 13th or 14th year, and I feel like for the first time, I don't hear bullshit takes about him. You know what I mean? Like, mind you, a lot of these takes we talk about are from fans who, like, I would consider kind of idiots, put it nicely, but it's like, you see too many fans talk that way about a Curry, about a Jokic, about an Embiid, about a Giannis. Like, I've seen about Giannis too. So I just hope we eventually get out of that. But that's what the NBA culture and fandom is now, and it's fucking weird. And we have too many of these conversations. I'm sure people I don't know if people like it or hate it, but I just see so much of it during the week, and I don't even try to see it. I don't even try to look at this, and I will see insane takes about a Giannis or Jokic or Curry.
I'm not going to lie. I think it's just because we actually respect the game that was and respect the game that is. That's really what I think. And I think a lot of people are newer fans of the basketball. So you hear newer media and like how today's media is kind of orchestrated, and you go off of that. And we have thoughts that we don't. I mean, we obviously do a podcast, so we have pre-thoughts here, but we also are basing it off of some things that have happened in history. We have watched a ton of basketball over the years, you a little more than I, just because you're older naturally. But it's not like I haven't watched or like done research on the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, the 90s. Like, all of that stuff I can talk to you about in depth, in detail. It's not just like I'm today learning and then I just spit facts that I hear from other people. Like, I actually do my own research and do my own thoughts, and I appreciate these players that are magnificent at what they do. Yeah. So, yeah, no, you're right. This is like the first year, and you haven't heard too many crazy things about Steph, which is crazy. I mean, you are always going to hear things about LeBron because it's LeBron, which is a whole nother issue on its own with the whole LeBron, and he kind of does it to himself sometimes of just being a diva, but that's a whole nother thing.
I just want to make the point,
but then at the same time,
I just want to make the point, like, in years past, I have not been the biggest James Harden fan, but I've never I've never discredited him to credit like someone else. You know what I mean? I just kind of hated the way he played on Houston.
He's just
now look, he's not flopping as much, and he's fun to watch. I like him a lot more on Philly than I ever did on Houston. I might have even said the same thing in Brooklyn. I don't remember.
He's a phenomenal player.
Who else? But someone.
He's a top 20 player in the game.
You mentioned LeBron.
I've never. Yeah.
And someone yesterday in this whole Jokic kickball thing, I think someone did mention how did we even? Or no, I think it was under the Dame conversation. Someone was like, "How did we get here?" And someone made a good point, a valid point. They said the conversation about winning and your teammates around you completely changed. The narrative completely changed when LeBron hit his prime compared to the standard Kobe was held to and compared to other people before LeBron. And I was like, you know what? That is I've probably made that point in the past, but that's definitely true. Like, people did start the whole, okay, LeBron didn't have
changed
teammates.
the way that people
talk about basketball, yeah. But yeah, no, as far as like teammates, like even
LeBron,
like
it's just skip.
Yeah, you could. I just think it's weird. Like, I just think, to allude back to what Dame said, again, I don't want to spend terribly too much time on this topic, but to allude back to what Dame said, like with it being about rings culture, I've seen so many people double talk to where they will talk about this player and shit because he got rings, and then say such and such only got rings because of this. You know what I mean? Like, it's just constant hate. Like, that's all it is at the end of the day. And there's always been hate for players. Everybody has a player they hate. But to take it to that level where you're, like, making excuses left and right to the point where you don't even make sense about it, that's the shit that annoys me the most. Because people will double talk about LeBron, saying, all right, LeBron's got these rings and he doesn't. And I'm not basing this off a LeBron argument. I'm just basing this because that's the most extreme people use is LeBron. Saying, all right, he's got these rings, but on another end will say Jokic ain't shit. Or Embiid ain't shit. I've seen that too. Meanwhile, they're kind of dead set in the middle of their careers. Like, they're not even to the second half of their careers yet. Embiid and Jokic and Giannis. Like, they're still.
Jokic is in his 8th season.
Yeah, I would say that's dead set. Like, right.
Jokic is in his 8th season.
Dead set right in the middle.
Mike didn't win until season 9. LeBron won in season 8. Like, they're right at the point where they should start winning.
Exactly.
Like, this is like this now they're really in the point.
This is
like,
where you really start judging them.
Learning how to play the game.
This is where you really start.
Yes, absolutely. Your first couple of years, you got to get in. You got to learn the game. After that, you have to have the right pieces around you. Typically, if you're that good, most of the time you're a top end pick for the most part. If that's the case, you obviously were bad before. Why do you have a top end pick? Because you're bad. Like, that's how it works. You go from there, and then you develop. You get pieces around you. You get your big contracts and things like that. Like, you allow people to grow and develop. It's not the NFL to where when you have a quarterback, especially in today's NFL, that first 5 years is really pivotal because then you don't have to pay for him at that point. You can gather all the great players. So you should go get... So winning a championship as a quarterback, like a long-term quarterback, is kind of pivotal early, and then you see how you can work after that. Try to do what you can, whatever. Super Bowls are super hard. But in the NBA, let people develop. A lot of people, it takes a minute. Like, obviously, it took Steph a minute. It took LeBron a minute. It took Mike a minute. We're talking about the greatest player ever. Not everyone's Magic Johnson comes in your rookie year and drops 45 in Game 6 playing center. Now, that doesn't happen. Like, that's very rare. Like, Larry Bird, his second year, obviously, I know Cornbread Max will win the MVP, but his second year, I believe they won the championship. Like, that doesn't happen often for your best player to already be doing that. Let people develop and let people come in and actually... So, Jokic is at the point where you're like, okay, you got your 2 MVPs. You're now starting to become in that, well, let's see what you do in the postseason because you're that talented. Embiid's the same thing. And that's where we started to judge Harden, was that 2016-17 run. Obviously, we saw what happened with him in the OKC, the Spurs game. We had some flameouts, and even then, we didn't hold that to him like his feet to the fire to that substantially. But then once it happened again and again, you're like, well, this happened, maybe we need to get it done. That kind of thing.
Last comment I want to say before I have a couple questions for you. My last comment that I have to say that I think is hilarious, pertains to Jokic, is that people say he's underperformed in the postseason. Like, just go look at his stats and just see. All right, like, his stats are ridiculous. As much superstars have in the playoffs, like, his ridiculous stats. Most do. And by the way, Harden has pretty good stats too.
What were you expecting him to do?
Triple 20s, I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, was Jokic go through the seasons? Was he supposed to beat that Warriors team last year? No. Was he supposed to beat the Lakers team?
Not without his top 2.
He competed with it?
Not without his top 2.
Yeah, no, was he supposed to beat that Laker team in the bubble? No. And then he did lose to the one thing he got swept by that Suns team. You probably got to get a game or two. But again, Did we expect them to win that team? No, the Suns were the best team in the league that year. They took the Bucks to 6. It took Giannis being
they were kind
literally
of a surprise.
Legendary in that series. He had a 50-point game 6.
They were kind of a surprise.
50 and 12. He had iconic plays in that series.
The Nuggets got swept by the Suns. I don't even remember that. I remember the Suns getting past the Jazz.
Yeah, that year they got swept.
The Clippers. Huh. Whichever.
Yeah, they swept them that year.
Interesting.
But like that's the one thing. If you want to say that, man, he can't get swept there. He's got to get a couple games.
I'm fair.
Cool.
I'm good with
Is
that.
that really to hold?
But underperforming?
That's cool. That's it. That's underperforming. No, but again, he went into the series the underdog. He shouldn't have won that series. But man, you can't get swept. You're that great. You got to get at least one. Like last year against the Warriors, they got one. They got at least one. As they always say, your great players, your great ones, are really typically are gonna get you one. After that,
Shaq,
we'll see what happens during the series.
Shaq got swept like 4 times. You don't hear shit about it.
Yeah, absolutely. No one cares because no one says anything. Charles Barkley, I understand, like we say, he's just gets mentioned a lot for not having a ring because of the fact that he's on with Kenny and Shaq, who didn't get a ring. But and people no one hates on his career specifically because he didn't get one. Obviously, it's something that they mention
because he was an insane.
But we all know how great Charles Barkley was
because he was an insane player. And he's appreciated.
He took the Bulls to arguably their toughest series. Took the Bulls to their arguably tough. I mean, they won in 6. I mean, because they only went 6 ever. But that series, that game 6 was real close. That series was a real close series.
I think we're boring people with the
they
NBA
almost
history
went 7.
Talk. So I'm gonna hit you with my questions because I know we do want to get.
I'm sorry, man.
Surprisingly, it wasn't me. Surprisingly, it wasn't me with the history lesson. But
listen,
let me ask you this.
I love them. I love history.
Let me
even American history. Randomly enough, go on.
Is that random? I don't know if that's random. But let me ask you this:
I don't know.
We got exactly 2 weeks basically left in March. So by April 1st,
yeah.
Give me an NFL prediction for before April 1st, an NBA prediction for before April 1st, and give me one song suggestion.
Song suggestion, Double R Dreamin' off of Lecrae's Church Clothes. Lecrae's Church Clothes entire project. It's part of his mixtape series, Church Clothes 4.
That's random.
I think that song is great. I think the entire project is great. It's one of my favorite projects of the year right now. So Lecrae, Double R Dreamin', but also songs like Misconceptions on there, Deconstructions.
We asked for one.
He's got a lot on there. Dirt. Sorry, I'm just talking about Lecrae.
You said American history was random?
He doesn't get much airplay.
You said American history was random. I was not expecting Lecrae. Even though I know that's one of your favorite artists, that's more random than American history. Mm-hmm. Now, NFL prediction, NBA prediction by April 1st. What you got?
The Patriots trade for either Jerry Jeudy or DeAndre Hopkins. I think they're going for it. I think they see what the other teams are doing around them, and they're going for it. So that's my NFL prediction. My NBA prediction. Embiid is going to solidify the MVP for himself this year.
That's broad.
With a 50-30 game or a 60, incredibly a 60-20 or a 50-30 game. Something like that. That's going to be his the moment where people are he's the MVP.
Okay. All right. I'll take those.
So,
I'll take those. Good
those are mine.
Good predictions. What was the song suggestion one more time?
It was Double R Dreamin' by Lecrae.
Okay. Rolls Royce Dreamin'? Is that what he means by Double R?
How about you?
A song suggestion?
What do you say?
I'm saying Double R. That's for Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce Dreamin'?
Yeah.
You're asking me for a song suggestion?
Yeah.
Hold up. I got you. I don't know this.
Okay.
I don't get the song title off the top of my head. It's It's Don Toliver. Hold up. It's Don Toliver. Who the fuck else is in it? It's Tolliver, Justin Bieber. Oh, and Future. It's Don Toliver, Future, Justin Bieber. Let me get the title for you right now. Let me find that shit. Off Don Toliver's new album, Lovesick, which I shouted out a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Still got that in heavy rotation.
Yep.
Song is called... Excuse me.
You're good. This Warriors-Clippers game is getting good.
That's what I feared.
It's been good this entire game.
That's what I feared. Private Landing.
But it's
Private Landing, Don Toliver, Justin Bieber.
It's an 8-point game right now.
Work.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been peeping at it. I've seen it's close. I see it's starting to get high scoring. But yeah, Don Toliver, Justin Bieber, Future, Private Landing. That's my shit. That's what I've had on repeat the most over the last 2 weeks probably. So that's my song suggestion. I'll suggest the whole album too, even though that wasn't the question. And I've already suggested it, but that's my song suggestion. And I do not have predictions. I just want to see what yours was. So you got an Embiid 50-30 or 60-20 game, and you got the Patriots getting either Jerry Jeudy or DeAndre Hopkins. I would obviously love that. What are we giving up? What do you think is the what's the capital they're giving up? Player picks, combination of
second.
Both? Second rounder, just one?
I think a second and probably a second and maybe like a next year's fourth down, depending on who they get.
Okay.
Probably like a second and fourth for DeAndre. I would say like a second and maybe like a 6 or a compensatory for Jerry Jeudy. I would do it because if you're gonna try to draft a receiver, those two receivers are proven already to be good receivers. So, great receiver, I should say. DeAndre Hopkins is a great receiver. Jerry Jeudy has star potential. So, I would be very happy with either one of them.
That goes through. I used to pray for times like this, so that's the hope. That is the hope. But Keenan,
hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought we were finished.
Keenan, great talking to you. We both want to get to this game. Like, subscribe, follow Warner Brothas Podcast on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever we're at. Follow us, listen, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
We got a lot coming.
Got a lot coming. Keenan, great talking to you.
John Williams, Camden, boxing. From
we got a boxing match to set up. We got a lot.
Oh, listen, I'm just gonna say this right now. If they do box, it will be videoed and it will be posted under the Warner Brothas podcast YouTube channel. I can promise you that.
Austin don't want that.
It will be recorded and it will be posted.
Austin does not want that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. Especially if he's talking about it on the pod. Absolutely. You think we're not gonna? Yeah. No, he's getting that treatment. It's gonna be on the podcast.
All right.